Welcome to Switzerland, a land where alpine peaks pierce the heavens, where pristine lakes mirror snow-capped giants, and where timeless villages whisper the stories of centuries gone by. This is not just a country. It's a masterpiece painted by nature and perfected by culture. A place where the precision of watchmaking meets the unpredictability of mountain weather, where age-old traditions are practiced with the same care as cutting-edge research. Switzerland is known for its order, neutrality, and peace. But hidden within its tranquil valleys and tidy streets is a world of untamed beauty, ancient rituals, and quiet power. It's a land that hums with history, yet pulses with innovation. In this documentary, we'll explore the heart of the Alps, from the cobbled charm of Lucerne to the towering spires of the Matterhorn, from crystal-clear lakes to medieval castles that echo with legends. This journey will show you why Switzerland feels like a land touched by the divine. And here's a question to get you thinking. What's older, Swiss neutrality or the famous Swiss Army knife? Drop your answer in the comments. And stay tuned for the surprising truth. Let's begin. One. Zurich. Swiss style meets global soul. Our journey begins in Zurich, the financial heartbeat of Switzerland and a cultural capital wrapped in centuries of tradition. At first glance, Zurich may appear buttoned up, a pristine city of bankers, suits, and silent trams. But peel back a layer, and you'll find a metropolis alive with creativity, heritage, and soul. Stroll through the Altstadt, or Old Town, where winding cobbled alleys reveal stories carved into stone. Towering above are landmarks like the Grossmünster, whose twin spires have watched over the Zermatt River since the 12th century. Inside its hallowed halls, echoes of the Protestant Reformation still linger. But Zurich isn't stuck in the past. This is a city where financial giants share the skyline with avant-garde galleries, Michelin-starred restaurants, and some of Europe's most vibrant nightlife. Bahnhofstrasse, one of the world's most luxurious shopping avenues, is a parade of elegance. Yet just steps away, the bohemian district of Zurich West pulses with youthful energy and street art. And then there's Lake Zurich, calm, glistening, and framed by the distant Alps. In summer, its shores come alive with swimmers, sunbathers, and couples in paddle boats drifting beneath fiery sunsets. In Zurich, the question is not what to do, but which version of the city you'll discover first. Before we go on, I'd love to ask for your support. If you're enjoying this video, please consider subscribing. It only takes a second and really helps this channel grow. Thank you so much. 2. Lucerne, where fairy tales come to life. Nestled between emerald hills and a shimmering lake, Lucerne is Switzerland's postcard-perfect fairy tale, a town where every corner seems to belong in a storybook. Its medieval heart is crowned by the iconic Chapel Bridge, a wooden span built in 1333, adorned with paintings that recount Lucerne's rich history. Nearby, the Water Tower, once a prison, treasury, and archive, stands like a silent guardian of time. The entire city seems suspended in a dream, with half-timbered houses, flower-lined balconies, and cobblestone streets winding toward the lake. And then, there's Mount Pilatus. Legend says dragons once roamed its slopes. Today, you can ascend its steep sides by cogwheel railway, the steepest in the world, for a view that stretches across the entire region, from lake to peak, cloud to forest. The Lion Monument offers a sobering contrast. Carved into a cliffside, it mourns the Swiss guards who died protecting the French monarchy. Mark Twain called it the most mournful and moving piece of stone in the world. Lucerne is both whimsical and profound, a place where history and legend dance in the alpine breeze. Three. Interlaken and the Jungfrau region. Gateway to the Alps. Cradled between two glacial lakes and overshadowed by towering peaks, Interlaken is where Switzerland shows off its wild side. This is the country's adventure capital, a launch pad to some of the most breathtaking landscapes in Europe. From here, trains climb into the clouds toward Jungfraujoch, the top of Europe. At 3,454 meters above sea level, it is Europe's highest railway station. Step off the train, and the world opens into a panorama of ice, rock, and sky. Below you lies the Aletsch Glacier, the longest in the Alps. Ahead, the Eiger, Monch, and Jungfrau pierce the sky like frozen titans. Interlaken isn't just for sightseers, it's for thrill seekers. Skydivers leap from plains to soar over valleys. Paragliders catch the updraft from cliffside meadows. And deep within the canyons, adventurers rappel, leap, and wade through glacial streams carved over millennia. Yet Interlaken has its quiet side, too. Boat rides on turquoise waters, serene hikes through flowered meadows, and villages that cling to cliffs with the stubborn grace of time. This is Switzerland's wild heart, and it beats to the rhythm of the mountains. Four. Bern, Switzerland's timeless capital. Now we arrive in Bern, the political soul of Switzerland and a city that feels like it was preserved in amber. The Old Town, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, stretches along a bend in the Aare River like a ribbon of sandstone and story. Walk under covered arcades that date back to the 15th century. Listen as the Zitglog, a medieval astronomical clock, chimes the hour with a parade of mechanical figures, a spectacle unchanged for centuries. Fountains gurgle in the streets, each one topped with statues of warriors, jesters, or saints, adding splashes of color to Bern's warm, honeyed stone. Albert Einstein once lived and worked here. It was in Bern's serene cafes and modest apartments that he developed the theory of relativity, a quiet revolution born in a quiet city. Despite being the capital, Bern moves at a gentler pace than its counterparts. Markets spill into its medieval squares, while the riverbanks fill with swimmers floating lazily downstream in summer. Bern is a place where history is not behind glass. It's underfoot, overhead, and in every tick of the clock tower. 5. Zermatt and the Matterhorn. A monument to nature. Towering above the peaceful, car-free village of Zermatt is one of the world's most iconic peaks, the Matterhorn. With its near-symmetrical pyramid shape, it pierces the sky like a monument carved by the gods. Zermatt is a haven for nature lovers and adventurers alike. In winter, its slopes become a playground for skiers and snowboarders, offering over 360 kilometers of interconnected pistes that glide across the Swiss-Italian border. In summer, hiking trails weave through alpine meadows, past glacial streams and wildflowers, with views so pristine they feel like a dream. Hop aboard the Gornergrat Railway, Europe's highest open-air cogwheel train, and ascend to a panoramic vista where 29 peaks above 4,000 meters rise in every direction. The Matterhorn dominates them all, cloaked in snow and legend. But Zermatt is more than scenery. The village itself is a story of harmony. Traditional wooden chalets line car-free streets, while gourmet restaurants, cozy cafes, and luxury lodges offer comfort amid the wilderness. Whether you wake up to a sunrise on the Matterhorn or watch it glow pink at dusk, one thing is certain: Zermatt is a place that stays with you long after the snow has melted. 6. Montreux and Lake Geneva, where music and mountains meet. Traveling west along the Rhone, we arrive in Montreux, a lakeside town where alpine majesty meets Riviera elegance. The shores of Lake Geneva shimmer like liquid sapphire, and palm trees line the promenade, giving the place an almost Mediterranean feel. But look up, and snow-dusted peaks remind you, this is still the Alps. Montreux has long been a magnet for artists and dreamers. Lord Byron immortalized nearby Chillon Castle in poetry. Charlie Chaplin spent his final years here, and Freddie Mercury, captivated by the town's beauty and calm, recorded music at the famous Mountain Studios. His statue now stands proudly by the lake, microphone in hand, forever facing the mountains. Chillon Castle itself is a marvel. Set on a rocky islet, its medieval halls and Gothic chambers seem suspended between history and myth. Each summer, Montreux comes alive with the rhythm of the world-famous jazz festival, where legends of music gather beneath alpine skies. Montreux is where serenity meets soul, a place that hums with beauty, culture, and the lingering echo of a piano note drifting across the water. 7. Aenzel, a slice of traditional Switzerland. For a taste of untouched Switzerland, we travel east to Aenzel, a region where tradition lives not in museums, but in daily life. Here, the landscape rolls in soft green waves, interrupted only by the occasional church spire or a herd of cattle grazing beneath wide alpine skies. The village of Aenzel is a feast for the senses. Its wooden houses are brightly painted with scenes of folklore, each facade telling its own unique story. Stroll through its narrow streets and you'll hear the soft clang of cowbells, the scent of freshly baked bread, and the unmistakable pride of a community deeply rooted in its past. Aenzel is where democracy is still practiced in the open. At the annual Landsgemeinde, citizens gather in the town square to vote by raising hands, a tradition dating back to the Middle Ages. But the real magic lies in its mountains. One of the region's most iconic hikes leads to the Ascher Cliff Restaurant, a wooden hut improbably wedged into the vertical rock face of Alp. After a challenging ascent, you're rewarded with rustic alpine cuisine and a panoramic view that feels like the edge of the world. This is a Switzerland where simplicity reigns, where traditions are lovingly preserved, and where every bite of Appenzeller cheese carries the flavor of mountain air and history. Swiss trains. Riding through a painting. In Switzerland, the journey is just as breathtaking as the destination, and nowhere is that more true than aboard the country's world-renowned trains. The Glacier Express is a marvel of engineering and elegance, a slow-moving luxury train that winds from Zermatt to St. Moritz over the course of 8 serene hours. Along the way, it crosses 291 bridges and 91 tunnels, carving through the heart of the Alps with a grace that seems almost magical. Through floor-to-ceiling panoramic windows, passengers are treated to a cinematic view of gorges, snowfields, sleepy villages, and emerald valleys. But the Glacier Express is only one thread in a national tapestry of train lines that stitch together cities, lakes, and mountaintops. The Bernina Express climbs to glaciers and descends to palm trees in a single day. The Golden Pass line links Lucerne with Lake Geneva, crossing vineyards and flower-strewn meadows that look too perfect to be real. These aren't just trains, they're floating viewpoints, curated journeys through some of the most dramatic and diverse landscapes in Europe. With Swiss precision, they run like clockwork, arriving with the calm assurance that no matter how wild the terrain outside, inside you are safe, still, and in awe. If you've ever dreamed of riding through a living painting, this is the frame you've been waiting for. Switzerland isn't just a place. It's an experience, a living mosaic of nature, culture, history, and heart. Here, the peaks don't just rise, they inspire. The lakes don't just reflect, they reveal. And the people don't just preserve tradition, they embody it, weaving the past into the fabric of daily life. Yes, the chocolate is rich, the watches are precise, and the neutrality is legendary. But beyond the clichés lies a land of soul-stirring beauty and quiet complexity. A place where you can sip espresso in a lakeside cafe and, an hour later, stand on a glacier. Where stories are told not just in books, but in architecture, in rituals, and in the silence between the mountains. And now, the answer to our earlier question. What's older, Swiss neutrality or the Swiss Army knife? Surprisingly, Swiss neutrality dates back to 1815, formally recognized at the Congress of Vienna, while the first Swiss Army knife was produced in 1891, nearly 80 years later. So, which place captured your heart? The medieval mystery of Bern, the wild spirit of Interlaken, the serenity of Montreux, or perhaps the eternal snow of Zermatt? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, because in part 2, we'll uncover Switzerland's hidden valleys, secret peaks, and lesser-known villages that most travelers never see. If you found this helpful, join the WanderQuest fam by subscribing. We're a growing community, and I'd love to have you with us. See you next time. Until then, pack your dreams, lace up your boots, and keep exploring.